I think YouTube wanted us to crash because we going live in traffic, not just any traffic. It's these people waking up in the morning and call themselves going to work, you know. In which case, maybe we should blow a red light here and now. Which is the one mistake that everybody makes going live. They don't take advantage of the live moments. You see? They go live particularly to create a live moment, as opposed to going live, doing a live moment. Now, seeing as how I got kicked off of Instagram, I got kicked off of Facebook. Well, just let them all know, you understand what I'm talking about? I've been kicked out of a lot better places than that, you understand what I'm talking about? You feel me? So, getting kicked up out of a dump, don't, you understand me, amount to too much well, let's just figure out, sit back, relax, and discover how long it's gonna take me to get kicked off of YouTube. You know me, Mr. Band in the USA. That's my real name is. Now I'm one of them guys, I come from off of the west side of Chicago, so if you go listening to the original OGs, OG Rick, and they get to popping about this, that, and the third, you understand me? You feel me? You know, 60644, you did? Now, be that as it may, I had a mammy, black woman. We on YouTube, so we're gonna call them by their proper attributes, right? On Facebook, you can call them all kind of, you know, anything under the sun. On YouTube, not so much, because this might get in front of the babies. You don't want the babies talking like that. Now, sometimes they cock them, we're gonna call them cock-a-doodle-doodles, right? On Facebook, I would have said they cocked the C word in. I ain't talking about C-U, C-O-O-C-H-I-E. They cock it open, right? So, I'm telling you, I had a mammy, you understand me? One of them delectable mammies. You know, everybody got a mammy. But sometimes some people got a mammy that she supersede what they talking about when they talking about their boss B word. You understand what I'm talking about? Right. They supervise their boss and this and that, you know. She they hook up, right? Now, be that as it may, you know, coming from my lifestyle, I do tend to find myself affected by today's present day politics. Big truck gang, listen to me. I'm riding in my Dodge Ram, minding my goddamn business. 5.7 Hemi, right? Trying to figure out, you understand me? What in the world would I want with a goddamn Tesla screen in my goddamn Dodge Ram at a time like this? And I'm like, damn, that's perfect. Because typically, when I'm in my, you understand me, big truck gang mobile, I just like to do basic big truck gang mobile type things. You know, glide through the traffic without any, you know, interruptions. You understand what I'm talking about? You might be the same kind of person. If you're that kind of person, you understand me, come on, sign up, subscribe, you know, it's already 40,000 people over there. Just join the squad, you understand me? This is the squad, the big truck gang squad, you understand me? Big truck gang nation, BTGN, you understand me? So now, look, I'm trying to tell you, sitting up as high as we sitting, you know, we like to glide like that, uninterrupted. So now I'm telling you, I'm minding my business, and in the process, mind my business. I mind my business according to the description, depiction of them individuals over there, the original OGs. That there what they talking about. Yeah, I mind my business according to them guidelines. Yes, what I'm talking about. So, you know, my mammy, born and raised over there, she first generation city slipper, come up out of Selma, Alabama. You feel me? And she one of them city slippers. You know about the other ones, McCoy ones. Well, these ladies had nieces and daughters and etc. Right? And daughters-in-laws and all kind of things, right? And in the process, the sisters that come up out of them households, well, they had a nephew. They called me Nephew Taurus, if you didn't know. You understand what I'm talking about? So, now I don't know if you heard, but I tend to be nothing nice according to, well, just about everybody. But I'm only that way if you interrupt my big truck gang nation business. You see? And so, since the big truck gang likes to get into a lot of business, I'll tell you the things I like to get into. I like to get into car sales. I would say anytime you can make $3,000 that quicker, I tend to like it. Which is why it took a little bit of time for me to get up out of the crime life. You understand what I'm talking about? Because I can do a whole lot more than that. You feel me? Oh, my bad. I just implied that coming from that particular area and that particular background, therefore, I ended up a rascal. You know, well, let's not say a rascal. I ended up at some point with some handcuffs on. Now, I'm not sure which point in my life you would be most concerned about when I ended up with some handcuffs on. But I will assure you that I haven't had many handcuffs on in quite a few years, in a decade. In a decade, I've never had a single pair of handcuffs on that stayed on more than a few days. You know, sometimes the government is in the wrong and they put the handcuffs on the wrong brother. You understand me? So, and they must have mistook me from one of you individuals. Non-big truck gang individuals. I ride, you understand me, big boy. Listen, I don't do all that. First of all, officer, if I was breaking the law, you wouldn't even know I existed. The moment you know I existed, you pretty much don't waves and all that jive. You know what I mean? So I can use you for that, best suited for that proposition. Now, if I was getting 10% on that, every time he made 300,000, I get 30 racks, and I ain't never broke the law. I just gave him a little bit of information about how he get better at his skills. Now, depending on what skills he might have, some people like to counterfeit, some people like to sell drugs. We shouldn't say those words. But some people do like to do a lot of tip. And I, for one, once upon a time, figured that the best way to get $3,000 is to ensure that I may ensure that other people who likes to break the law can do it very, very, very much successfully. You see? Now, problem is this. Once upon a time, I was underage. So therefore, a great deal of the value of what I figured out, it was really only relevant to somebody that's underage. 15, you're not legal. You're supposed to be driving a car. Well, you know, according to who? Now, 15 and you got a permit, then therefore, 15 with an adult up in this bad boy. Which one of you 18-year-old honeys need to get where you need to go? Ladies of America, 18 and up. Which one of y'all need to get where you need to go? Sure. Yes, that's tomorrow. So, you know, I might end up with the court reporter like that. You know what I mean? You know, once upon a time, I really truly was a bona fide salesman. I just got to the point where I stuff to my So now, big truck gang nation, I'm sliding in my, 1500. Now I had the idea I was going to pimp it out like it was a 2500. That's what I'm talking about. Now for those in America who don't understand quarter ton, half ton, 3/4 ton, that's why I say it like that, because I know you don't know what the business is. So we're going to keep it on a level you can understand. 1500, 2500, 3500, 4500, 5500. You understand me? Now, if you start talking dollar signs, just imagine $20,000, $25,000 a piece or better. How many can you move and how fast can you move them? Now, if you was 15, you gotta understand they don't necessarily lawfully allow that to happen. Now, I told you I had a man. She's the first bred. Well, let's just say those ladies have made some magnificent inroads into society on all sorts of levels. And she's one of those, you understand me? And I so happen to be, nephew Taurus got a mammy, and that's her. That's what I'm talking about. Now, I'm telling you, sliding and gliding and minding my business in particular areas at the age of 15. She decided she didn't want to participate in my enterprise. I told my mama, listen, mammy, if I was to have 4 paper routes, I could make 4 times, you understand me, anybody else. And I could do it in the exact same amount of time they was going to do their 1 paper route. Now, she's game from the beginning. She didn't understand. I had big truck gang nation in my eyesight. You feel me? And so, at that time, 10, 11, 12, 9, I was a little bit more enterprising than the rest of the kids. My grandmama might say 6, 5. And I would still tell my grandmama, I did not steal anything. I did not borrow anything. In fact, you're only implying that I might have done something because of what I haven't done as a result. You know how they like to say in crime, somebody doesn't cry a certain way over somebody's death. So my grandmama figured that because I didn't move in a certain, then I must have been one of them kids that was already had their palate wet by all the candy. The only reason why a child wouldn't want all that goddamn candy, shouldn't say that, is because that child had so much candy already. Now, of course, by now, the detective that my grandmama is, listen, Selma, Alabama, weather, Denver. So, they cold. They've been told us and hit us over the head with their code 50 million different times.